Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome to the third session of Power BI. I hope all of you can hear me. So let's get started. Just a look at today's course structure, what we are going to study today. So it's mostly about the visualizations. One second. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible now. I was not sharing till it was 8 p.m. So I just started sharing now. I hope it's visible. So a brief look at the course structure today. Today we'll be talking more about the visualizations and the most commonly used type of visuals that are in the report and how to format those and what different type of visuals should be used for reporting and everything related to the visual formatting. A brief look at the earlier session also, just to recap whatever we have studied in past two sessions. Like this is the same Power BI report that we formatted in the previous sessions. So we last time we just worked on the backend data modeling, that was the edit queries pane. We learned how to source a Excel file, a web data file, how to format it, or if we have multiple files of same structure, then how do we combine them using the append queries? Or if we have all of them in a same folder, then how we can source the folder directly and Power BI will do the combining. How we can do the data modeling in terms of removing a column, renaming it, changing the data type. We worked on all of this, but finally when we have the data model ready and it's available in Power BI, so how do we start reporting? After that, we'll concentrate on that part today, and after that in the next session tomorrow, we'll go into more advanced modeling concepts, that are DAX, and how to create different measures, how to define relationships and all. But before that, I want to give you a basic idea about how to develop the report. That is the main UI which is visible to the users. So we'll work on that today. So this is a blank canvas. After I have the data, it's available in this field section. So right now I have 4 queries that we developed last day, and this is blank at first, and we have just a page 1. We can rename this page as desired, as I mentioned in the last day also. Now suppose we want to start developing a visual. Yeah, Tarun has a doubt. Tarun, you can go on mute and like you can ask the doubt.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Actually, one thing I would like to ask, like, if I have a database of
Yeah.
Oracle SQL database, so can you please tell me, like, how to apply queries in the Power BI?
Okay. See, I don't have an Oracle connection here, but I'll tell you the steps. We go to
Okay,
get data
okay,
and you click on more. Database.
okay,
Here you will get the option of Oracle database. If you have SQL Server, you have Oracle, you are saying. So you'll click on Oracle, connect, and then you will have to give the host port and other details.
okay,
Here we don't have Oracle installed, but it will ask you for the host number, the server name, the port, and all. See.
okay. And what's in this advanced options?
Advanced option is, suppose you want to write a direct query. What happens is when we connect to the server, okay, you
Okay.
have maybe 20 tables or something. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
click directly on import and it will show you a list of tables, and there you can select, maybe I need 3 tables. You can select directly. Advanced option, I can write a, maybe I have a customized SQL, then
Yeah.
I can type in the SQL directly here. And if I
Oh,
don't want to type in the SQL here, I just want to import 3 tables in Power BI and do the modeling inside Power BI, then I don't need the advanced option. I'll just click on import, okay, and then select whatever tables are needed, bring in inside Power BI, and then apply the SQL. Like maybe filter or something. But this is just for applying a customized SQL, and this is a timeout option. Suppose you know your query will be taking a lot of time and you need Power BI to wait for maybe this many minutes before it
okay.
gives a timeout error, then you can
Hmm.
type that here.
Okay.
Okay.
And one thing more, like, what's the difference between import and direct query?
Import is when we click on import and we take any data, it comes inside this PBIX file that is saved in Power BI. Okay.
Okay.
And when suppose we have imported some tables, we have saved this report, unless we refresh it, that table remains in the same state. It doesn't go back to the database, and that is why these type of tools give you a faster performance, because the data is inside the memory of the tool itself, so it gives a faster performance. But if you have a huge volume of data and you
Okay.
don't want to store it inside Power BI, and you want it to directly go back to the database and fetch the data at the time of querying, when the user is suppose applying a filter, you want that data query to go back to the database and fetch the result that is at this time, then use the direct query option. In that case, what happens, Power BI will not store the data, it will have the query, and when you are running the report, for example, you are changing the visuals and all, then that time Power BI sends the query back to the database, which happens in case of many traditional BI tools such as Cognos or MicroStrategy, if you have heard of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happens in that cases, it goes to the database to fetch the data, and then the report displays. So that happens with the direct query option.
Okay, okay, okay. Basically, while using the direct query option like Power BI desktop is not maintaining a data sheet or something
Yeah,
here.
the data is
Okay,
not
okay.
imported inside this file.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, then. So we'll start with this. So one of the most common used visual is something called a table. Everyone has known about it. So we'll see how even a table can be formatted in different ways inside Power BI. I just clicked on a table here. I brought it. Same thing can be done using this new visual option also. So it will just insert a new visual and selecting this table. Now this, when I have selected it, it's active. So whatever I will drag will come inside this particular table. So suppose I want to see a data country wise, I can just click on it. It's added there. Revenue. I want to see country wise revenue, and maybe I want to also add another measure, that is date. Now you see date by itself is a hierarchy. That is Power BI. Whenever we define any field as date in Power BI, what happens, it creates a hierarchy by itself: year, quarter, month, and day. I want to see only the year, then I can just delete these other levels of data. So I have year, revenue, and country. If I want to move the year before revenue, I can just select and drag it on the top. Now this is a very simple date table. Suppose I want to format it. Let me go to the format option. This is the format pane, the second icon that you see. Here, if you start checking one by one, you will be seeing different options to format any visual, and it will vary, as I explained in my first session, that the options will vary depending on the type of visual you are selecting. So here, this is just a position. Generally, we'll just move the visual here and there on the canvas to align it. But if you want to exactly put in X position or Y position, you can type it here. Or maybe the width I want to reduce, I can just type it here, maybe 400. The width reduces accordingly. Or I can just drag this handle. So not used much, but yes, you can put the exact position there if needed. If you go to the style section, this is the default table, but by itself, Power BI provides several options, such as, for example, I need alternating rows. The color you see, one is gray and other is a bit different, alternating rows section. Or if I need bold headers or contrast rows. So depending on how you want the visual to look like, you can check this option. Now, even suppose this is contrast alternating rows, but I want it to be formatted with different colors. Anyone else having a problem with audio? I think everyone else is able to hear. Okay. So suppose this is a table. Now, even in the contrast, this is what Power BI has given by itself, but I want a specific color of my choice, then I can do that also. I will just have to move a bit down and go to the value section. And here you see, there is font color, background color, alternate font color, and alternate background color. So this background color, I want to change to something of this sort. I can just click, it will go to that. And then I want to make the font color black. So this is customizable based on my needs. Even there is a different section to format the column headers. If I don't want this black and white, I want some other font and background color, I can do that. I can change the font family. I don't want, I want a Arial or Calibri or different options that is there. I can just select that one. I want Arial black, so it is bold. I want a bigger header size. I can just select and click on this. So this is how, when you start working, you have an idea in your mind. Okay, I want my table to look this way. You can just go on selecting the option. I want the vertical grid or horizontal grid. Again, this is according to my need. And if I want even the grid size to be a bit thick, suppose the horizontal grid is there but I want it to be a bit thick, then I can just increase the thickness. I can increase the row padding. This will increase the difference between different rows. So we work with this formatting section in a way. If I don't want this total row, this is by default total has come up, but suppose in my table total is of no importance, I can just disable this one. It is off. Now the total has been removed. Even in field formatting section, suppose we want a specific country to be in some other color, year to be in some other color, or revenue to be in some other color. I want to specify formatting for just one column, then I can just select that column here and I can specify the format for that one also. So here
Yeah,
it, yeah,
one thing. How you remove the total bar?
if you go to this total section,
Okay,
okay, here
okay,
totals is
okay, okay,
off,
okay,
or
okay,
you
okay.
can click it on. And
Yeah,
when
got
you
it.
click it on, then you can give further values like, okay, I want to write it as total revenue, not just total. And I can type it this way.
Okay, okay, okay,
And
got
I
it.
want the font and color also to change, then I can change it. But if you are just putting it off, then obviously no option will come up because it doesn't make sense. So this is how we can format. Even a simple table can be formatted in different ways, just depending on your requirement. Now another thing that is very common along with a table is a matrix. If we want not this way, but we want countries here, we want year as columns and then the revenue, that is a cross tab type of data, then we can select on matrix. And what happens is in Power BI, suppose my data is in a different visual but I want to change, okay, this table has to be converted into matrix, I can select this and just select on the other visual. So I selected on matrix. Power BI by itself has applied some formatting. Let me just increase the font size a bit so that it is visible what Power BI has done by itself, and we can customize that further. The Power BI by itself, what it did is inside country, if you go to this section, inside country, it has put year also in the rows. So you see a plus icon comes here. So inside Canada, we have all the different years, but we didn't want it this way. What we wanted is we have a country, we want year to be in the column. So select this year and drag it into the column section. Now, again, corresponding to, we can uh, format the column header, the row header in a different way. Suppose I want my rows to look maybe any color, we'll just select something and we'll put it. So it depends on how you want to visualize. It can be other way. I want the year here and I want the countries on the column section. What I have to do is just reverse the position. I have to select country and put it here and take the year to the rows section. It will just display the data the other way. And what is with the hierarchy is something, suppose there is year and inside year I wanted quarter data also, but it is as at a next level of hierarchy. Only if the user wants, they can expand that. Otherwise it will be summarized at the year level. So I can do that. Let me just delete this date field and drag it again back. And what I did earlier, I deleted all the quarter, month, and day section. Right now, what I will do is I will just delete day and month. So we have this icon here on the tops. It is only when we have multiple layer of data inside either row or column. Otherwise, this icon doesn't come up. And we also have a plus icon here. So now if I click on 1999, for example, then it will show me the split of data by quarters as well. And I can click back on the minus icon. I can also customize this further. This is the row section of the data. So I want to customize the row headers. What I will do is I'll go to the row headers and I will say I don't need a stepped layout. So I don't want a stepped layout. What is a stepped layout is when I'm clicking 99, you see these layers are created under 99. So if I don't want it this way, what I can do is go to this section, row header, put this step layout to off. Now you see how it comes up. 99 is a common header. Inside this, we have quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and a total. So again, this is just one a customizing option which we need depending on like how I need it. If I don't want it this way, I can put the plus minus icon. Even plus minus icon, if I don't want, I can just put it off. So now you will say, okay, how the user will view the next level of data if the icon is not there. So suppose I want go to 2000, I want to see next level of data for 2000. I just select this one and I can say expand, or I can use icons on the top that is like expand all. So what this will do is for all level of years, like if I just increase the size 99, 2000 and all, everything is expanded. And then I can move up the hierarchy saying drill up. It will just drill up. If I want to see data just at the quarter level, I can just drill down. So it will just give me quarterly breakup. No year section is there. So this way, if we have hierarchy data, and the same thing applies for column as well. Here we are having the hierarchy in the rows, year and quarter. If we had the same thing in the column section, maybe inside country we had a state data, then the same thing would apply here also. We could drill up or drill down depending on the requirement. So these is why like matrix is used more popularly than table, because table is something a very static structure. If you don't have hierarchy or something, or you want to see in just as a list data and not as a column and row section, that okay, this data is a cross tab view of Canada 99, what was the revenue. But if you want it in a different way, then use the table. Otherwise matrix gives us more flexibility of how we want to display the data to user. And for any icon, you will see this focus mode. What happens is when we are designing a report, we give a section, suppose this is the section that the table occupies. Maybe I will place a chart here or something else. And when the user is viewing the report and he's very interested into seeing this table in a larger view, he can just click on focus mode, and this will bring the entire page to this table. They can view the data and then go back to the report. It will go back to the original size. So this focus mode is also available when we publish to cloud or server after development. So this is all we have for table and metrics, which are the most popularly used visuals. Another very good visual to explore is this card. It's a very simple one, but very effective when we are creating a summary page or something, and very widely used like the projects and all I work in. Visual like this is very widely used whenever we are creating a summary page. Then what happens is on the top, just to give a display of the total numbers, so I can just bring in a card visual. I add a data field here, for example revenue. Okay, 117.2 million. And suppose I have formatted this visual. Now here I have revenue. I don't want revenue at the bottom. I want it as a title. I put in the title section as on. I type the title text as revenue. I want it in the center. So I will align it to the center. Text size will be something like maybe 18, 19, because I want it to look a bigger. And the background color is dark blue, and I want the foreground color to change to white, and I don't want this revenue. Then here we have the data label and category. This is the data 117 and this is the category label. So data label is fine. I don't want the category label. Just switch it off. And then I can size it according to our need. Now suppose I have this revenue on the top. I also need a similar formatted card for units. So I don't want to like, okay, develop it from scratch. I will just create a card here, then I will drag units, then I'll format the title. I don't want to go into that pain again. So what I can do is I'll just select this one, copy and paste. It will create a copy and paste here. The formatting has been copied. And then I can just drag units here instead of revenue, and I can format the just change the title, since title is static here, so I can change it to units. So the pain of all that formatting has been saved. Another thing is, like, it doesn't look good without a border, so I can put a border. I go to this formatting option, border on. By default it will be maybe a black color, but I can change again the color to the need. So this way, on many of the reports, you will see that we do have a summary kind of thing on the top with different cards which are displaying the high level numbers. And again, this number will change based on the selection. For example, you see right now it is 322. I select only France here, it changes to 117. Maybe I change the selection to Germany, it will change to something else. So these visuals are interacting with each other. Depending on what I have selected on the page, it is just giving me the summarized number on the top. Now, suppose this is how we are using this card. Is used just to display a single field amount or whatever measure you want to. There is another similar kind of visual that Power BI provides, is a multi-row card. This is something, if I want to combine revenue and units in a single card, then here I can add multiple fields. In a card, I cannot add multiple fields. When revenue is there, suppose I want to drag units, it will replace revenue. It will replace it with units. I can undo this step using just undo button. So this is revenue right now, but I wanted a sync inside this card only revenue and units both. Then I have to not use the card, but the next icon, which is a multi-row card. So I have dragged it here. Now I can select both revenue and units in a single one. And if I expand it this way, you see it comes side by side. If I want to display a vertical, I'll just decrease the size. Here it is. And then again, I can format it according to my need. Maybe the category label I want it here, but in a dark color, I can just change the color, increase the font, and so on. So if we want to display multiple visuals in a single card, we'll use this, multiple measures in a single card, we'll use this multi-row card. If we want it in a single card, then we'll use this single card. And there's also an option that we use in Excel, Word, and different things, that is called a format painter. So suppose I have applied the border here and I change the data label color to maybe a different font. Okay, not black, I wanted something like this color. So now I want the same format to be applied here. I can use the format. And then there is something also known as, suppose these two visual, we want to place it at the same height. So one is like, okay, I try to place it, but you see this red line that is coming. So it will ensure that these two visuals are placed side by side at the same height. Another thing is, you can go and manually check, which no one does in general, but yes, we see the position what is there, which is the height 47, and for this one also the height is 45. So they are not aligned at the same position, they should be at the same position. Another thing is, I can maybe control select both of them, go to format, align top. Now both are aligned at the same position. And if I have three visuals, for example, I control select all of them and I want to have equal spacing between all of them, then I'll say distribute horizontally. So then all of these three are spaced equally. So I hope everything is clear till now about these 2-3 visuals. We'll go into the charts and gauges after that. I'm just taking the topics according to priority, like according to what is most commonly used. In one of the earlier sessions, I told you, even this is not limited to something like what is available in this pane. You have an option to import more from the marketplace. And if you are someone who is having a scripting background, then you can also write your own visuals using the scripting language and then import it using the from file option. Suppose I have that script, that visual as a file on my desktop, then I can just import it from file or import from marketplace, and it will give me a huge range of visuals that are available. But I'm trying to cover only the most popularly used, and that is most commonly used visuals in day-to-day work. So suppose I have this page. Now I want to create another page. I'll just click on the new page here, plus icon. A page 2 is created. Then I will show to use some of the gauges and charts. So what is a gauge? Suppose this is the icon, left hand side of the card. Click on this, a gauge is there. This is, as you may know, it will just understand, okay, my total revenue, how much it is compared to the target. Is it below the target, above the target, and so on. If I want to see that kind of a comparative analysis, I will use a gauge. So when you select a gauge, you see the difference. Here it will look for a value, minimum, maximum, and target value. When I selected a table, it was just the values. So when I select a columns, it's a row, column, and values. So depending on what I'm selecting, this section also changes. So right now when I'm selecting a gauge, it asks me for a value. Okay, I want to see revenue. By default, what it will do is, it will put minimum as 0, maximum as double of whatever the value is. If I have a specific maximum and minimum value field, I can drag it. For example, suppose I want to put the target as 500 million. Let me create a column here. We'll go into this creation of column and measures in detail tomorrow. But for reference to this particular visual, let me create a column here, which will be my target revenue. So just click on the new column there. Formula bar appears. I want to name it as target. I don't want to summarize it. I want to just keep it as minimum. Otherwise, what it will do, it will be summing it up. So let me drag this target to the target value section. And you see, yeah.
So basically, what have you created here? Like target is a column.
Yes, I have created it as a column right now.
Okay.
Yeah. This column and measure we will study in detail tomorrow, just to show how this visual works. Otherwise, we have this section per the syllabus in tomorrow's course, and we'll be creating more values in these columns and measures tomorrow, and I'll show you what's the difference between columns and measures and how we use tags for it. But just for today's, I wanted a target value here, so I have created it and dragged it inside the target. So 500 million is my target. Now if this visual clearly shows, okay, I'm this much, the difference between the targets, suppose my target was 300, then it would have shown the target bar here. Then I would have understood, okay, my revenue is way above the target. So for this type of analysis, we use this gauge chart. Again, this is customizable with different background data label. I need the target, I need the call out value, I just need the chart this way. So depending on these requirements, again, all the visuals are customizable, but this is, if we have this sort of a data, then we go for a gauge chart. Next, we'll see a bar chart. So suppose I have a chart here, and I want to see the data of country versus revenue. I just drag country and revenue. It will put by itself in the proper field. This much Power BI understands. When I select country and revenue, that revenue is a measure field. It has to go in value section, and country has to go into axis section. So, okay, it created this chart. Now, after some time, I feel, okay, I needed a column instead of not a bar chart, but I needed a column chart. Again, the same thing. You can just select on the column, and here it will change it to this way. Now, these are all coming in same color by default. This is how it takes. I can change the color. Go to data colors section. Default color is this. I can change it to a different shade. And if I want each of the country to have a specific color, I can go to the show all section. In the data colors itself, you show this is off by default. You click on it. Now you will see a list of all the countries that is available right now. France is this color. I want Germany to be some other color. Mexico to be a different color. I can use that also. And if I want to go back to the original settings, I can just click to revert to default. It will go back to how it was originally. And I want to change the color by using another field, I can use that also. Now suppose this chart is this way, I don't want it to see by country but by year. Select, click, and just delete the country, bring the year data here. So now we have the chart by year, and inside year I wanted a distinction by countries. So I bring the country inside the legend section of the chart. So now you see how it looks like. If we go to the focus mode, you will see it clearly. So we have year by 98, 99, and so on. We have all the years, and inside this we have different country data, and the legend is on the top. So, okay, this blue section is for Canada, this is for France, and this is for Germany and Mexico. This is how the chart looks like. Now, if you want the legend to be on some other place, not on the top, you can just click on here, and I want the legend to be on the left, right, top, center, top, bottom, different options that are available. You can select any of them according to your need. You can customize the title of the legend. You want it to display in some other color. What is the color that's needed? What's the font size? Everything is there. In some of the charts, we want the values to also be displayed. For example, this is a big chart. There are a lot of values. If I display, it will look clumsy, but I will show you how. If you want, you go to the data labels and you select it as on. So you see this is a big chart. It's itself giving a warning icon, but suppose it's a small one where I have just the country and this. So the labels, the data is coming up, and this label is quite small. I want to increase the size of it. Go to the data labels and text size. You can just increase so that now the label is visible on the chart itself. If it's not visible, or if it's visible, either way, when you hover over any of the bar, this tooltip icon comes up, which will show me, okay, for country Germany, this is the revenue. But I have displayed here, so here I can see, okay, 82 million, 95 million, and so on. Even if I want to change the sorting, right now it's sorted by revenue in the descending order. I want to sort it in some other manner, maybe in alphabetical order of the country. Canada should come first. Click on this icon, sort by. Right now you see a small yellow bar beside revenue, which means it's sorted by revenue. I want to sort by country. Just click on country. It's sorted by country. Right now in descending order, because descending it's having a yellow icon, I'll click on sort ascending. So now Canada, France, Germany, and Mexico. Even this x-axis, y-axis, if we want to format it, so we can, and even we can switch it on or off. But suppose I want to make it a bit bigger, or maybe Arial black to make it more clear, I can just change the font and color depending on what section I'm choosing. This is x-axis, so this is the format for x-axis. If I want to change something in y-axis, I can similarly select y-axis and define the formatting. Suppose this revenue, I already have on the top revenue by country. This revenue and this country is making no sense, or is an extra thing on the chart which is not adding some value. So I want this title to go away. So inside y-axis, I will just go to the title section and click off. So this revenue has gone. Similarly, I can do for the x-axis. I will click the title off. So because on the top we already have something which says revenue by country, so it's self-explanatory. So these are small things, but it makes a huge difference when you are actually designing a report for some practical world, some projects or something. Then these small formatting options do make a lot of sense. Now on the top also revenue by country, again we can move this to the center position. This is the title, so we can move this to the central position and change the font and color as needed. This is one of the charts that I have formatted, but the same formatting is, like I will not explain, there's not major difference between a bar and column instead of just the display in a horizontal or vertical manner. So most of the options will be similar in these two charts. And suppose I need a constant line of any of the chart. For example, when we are here, you click on this analytics pane, you will not see any option. In tables also, if we go to the page one, and if we select any of the table or metrics also, then also this analytics pane will not have any option. But in general, for charts, this analytics pane get enabled. So for example, I'm having this chart enabled, I'm clicking on it and I'm going to the analytics section. We can add a constant line. For example, I want a constant line on the chart of 100 million or something. I can just add it here and I can put a value. Let me put it something as 80 million right now. So a chart line comes up. So it shows me what is above that and what is below that. I can change the color of it. I can make it a dotted line or a formatted. Suppose I want a big dark shade and it's not a dashed line, just a solid line or a dotted line. So there are just three options, but these three options can be used. And I want the data label to be on here. Okay, this is what has to be there. Then I just put it on. If I want to click it off, I can click it off. So if those kind of options, if you want a solid line, then you can use from here. Later on, if you want to delete it, you just click on the small cross icon here, it will be deleted. So this is something that is similar for stacked bar, stacked column. Both of them will be having a similar option. Another one common, these are charts like which are common to any other tool. It's not something that is specific to Power BI. If you have worked on charts and all, then we do have something called 100% stacked chart. This will change the data this way. If you want to split it with some other values, for example, product group, I want to split it. So maybe in the legend section, I will just drag this product group and it will show me how product group is comparatively having a difference in Canada, which product group is being sold more and which is less, and what's the comparative ratio. And then we have something called clustered. So these charts and cards and gauges, table metrics most commonly used. Another thing is like the pie or the donut chart. Again, these two are a similar kind of chart. Instead, just the pie has a hollow section, donut has a hollow section in the middle, and pie doesn't have that. So when we can use this chart also in a similar manner. Another very interesting thing that Power BI has is, suppose when we are selecting any two fields, for example, when I'm selecting country and revenue, by itself, Power BI will give you a default chart. Up till now, what I was doing is first I was clicking on a visual and then I was adding a data to it. But here what I did, how this graph come up, let me just click here and remove. I clicked on country. As soon as I click on country, Power BI understands, okay, it is something related to geographical data. It creates a map. And then I click on revenue. So it will plot the revenue on this chart. So you see one Canada, Mexico, France, Germany. We have four icons here, four small balls, which will show, okay, revenue in these four states. And then we can customize it if we want. The bubbles, what is the color of the bubble, the size of the bubbles, let me increase it a bit. Or color, again data color, by default it's blue. If I want to change the data color of each of the bubbles, so I can customize it. So this is how Power BI is understood. Okay, here is geography data, I will plot a map here. For example, I did not have a geographical data, I wanted just maybe product group and units. So it's by default giving me a table. So this also, you are not sure what chart to put, you can just select on the values, a default visual will come up, and then you can change it later point depending on your requirement. And if you have a specific design in your mind, then sure, drag that particular visual and then start putting in the numbers accordingly. So either of the way you can design your reports. Even a page, suppose I have my pages, now I can even format this entire page here. Now right now I'm not selecting any particular visual, I'm just selecting this page. So the formatting options that are there is for the page size. By default it's 16:9, but if you want the page size also to be customized, then there are some default option 4:3 letter and so on. And if you want it to be a custom size, then you can just click on custom and you can specify the height and width in pixels. If page background, again, I don't like a default white background. I can change it to any color depending on my requirement.
One thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to cover buttons also in this session?
No.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I have a doubt regarding this, so maybe I can ask like in the end of the session.
Yeah, we can cover your doubts. That's for sure. But today I'll not be covering buttons.
Okay.
Okay. So we can change the page background, page alignment, and so on. Even right now, what you're seeing is, suppose I'm selecting on page background or any of the color. This is what Power BI is providing. I can change this palette as well. If we go to home and go to this switch theme, there is a wide range of theme that is available. I can change it to suppose solar. The entire thing changes up, and here if I select, you see some different colors coming up. So I can change this theme. More theme, you have some more themes here. And there is another option called import theme. This is if you have a JSON file written, if people who are aware about JSON and this entire, so we can write our own JSON script. We can specify the range of colors that we are looking for in the reporting. This also helps in our, basically when we are working in our projects and all, what happens, different vendors have their own color scheme. They have some branding. Okay, this is the specific blue color or green color or yellow color that we need in our, and they are very specific to the color scheme that they follow for all of their applications, be it reporting, be it their website, and so on. So if that is the requirement, what we can do, some people follow the manual formatting option. Okay, we'll go here, we'll put that blue color. So suppose I want to put the title in a specific color. I go to title, background color. Here I was selecting. You go to custom color, you can put in the hex code of that color. Any particular color you use, you put the hex code, that will come up. But you want those sort of color to be used frequently, then in that case you can create your own JSON file and you can import the theme. You'll select on import theme, you will upload that file, and then this color palette will change according to whatever you have put in. So you don't have to every time go and manually type in the color code. Only that color code will be available in the default theme. So this is how you change this also. It's not that, okay, Power BI has given me a limitation of these many colors, I have to only be restricted to this, I cannot do anything about it. It's not there. If you have a hex code, go type it there. You can just select from here also, even the range, this particular custom color, I can type it, or I can just select on any section and it changes. Blue color you see here, it changes, or I can create a theme of my own. And by default also it has a huge ranges of theme, and these are also added from time to time. And you have a theme gallery also. If you are not satisfied, similar to the visual gallery, we have a theme gallery also. Like we have import from marketplace to import a visual, we can go to the theme gallery and import more theme from there. And you have a section to how to create a theme, like I was talking about the file. So if anyone is interested, you can go to that section and create your own theme. So it's just your imagination how you make a page look more beautiful after data modeling. If you want a title on the top or something like that, we have some options like text box, image, shapes. Suppose I take a text box and I type in like first report, bold color, and maybe a bigger size. And then I want it to be in the center of the page. I just select this, go to format, align, center. It will go to the center of the page. So a title to be put in the top. I want an image to be put as on the left hand side. I'll just click on image. It will ask me for an image, browse it, and it will come up on the report, and then I can put drag it on any of the section. Then there are different shapes like rectangle, oval, and so on. Suppose a line, I want to put a line somewhere. This is a vertical line, by default it comes up. I want to rotate it by 90 degree. I can just say, okay, 90-degree rotation. If I want to put it somewhere on the page, and I can change the color and so on. Sometimes what happens is a different, suppose there are different cards and all, we want to group the visuals together. In that case, shapes become very important. Like popularly, I have seen this rectangle shape being used. Suppose this is a rectangle shape. I'll just drag it on the top of the cards here, and I will say that I don't need a back. It should go to the back, like the visual should come on the front. I'll select it and say send to back. So this has gone to the back. So this is how it will come up. So sometimes it happens that we want to group different things into a report. It will just increase the visual appeal. These are not something that are related to accuracy of the data, but as your data becomes more accurate, then you look on these features. That is where this text box image shapes become important just for the alignment purpose. Then there are different visuals like this heat map or this charts. And this is how you will practice more and more. You will become used to the different visuals, and everyone has their own type of designing reports. Some visuals are more appealing to some of the users and others are not. So that is how we design. We will cover some important section of conditional formatting in the upcoming session, how to conditionally format the data. And there is something called slicer, which is also a part of upcoming session, which is very important. Right now we have all this data as static, but we are selecting here, then okay, Canada, this is getting filtered and so on. But I don't want it this way. I want a filter option on the page itself where user can select on runtime. There is where slicer will come into action. So this slicer will cover into detail in a upcoming session. For today, this is all I had to explain to you guys. So if you have any queries, you can ask me.
One thing I would like to ask,
Yes.
like if I have a report generated in Jaspersoft, I think you are
Yeah.
aware about Jaspersoft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So if I have basically my report takes the dynamic parameters.
Okay.
So is there any provision in Power BI like to pass dynamic parameters here?
Dynamic parameters, where you want to pass. You want to pass to the database, or you want to pass where? Like,
In the basically when I am putting a SQL query,
mm-hmm.
so in that like I am using $p something karke, like in $p where we are passing the like client name or a date.
Okay. So here, if you go to the edit query section,
Okay.
suppose like if you see here also, we have something called manage parameter edit queries. We have edit parameters option. So from where these
Okay.
parameters will come, we go to the edit query section. Here there is manage parameters. I can click a new parameter. A parameter I can be created here. Suppose I create a parameter as country,
Okay.
and it can be type any. Right now I'm putting it just as a any value, but I can create it as a list of values also. I can say list of values, and I can type in the value as maybe country A, just for the sake of showing you how it comes. And then I say current value is A, but I have an option of A and B. And click OK. Now I will have a parameter created here. And if this parameter can be related to any of the queries, for example, I wanted to filter it by some parameter, I can say, okay, equals the parameter, and so on. So instead of typing a static value, I can make it parameterized. Here a parameter, and I can just select the country parameter. So depending on when my value of this will change, the
Yeah.
entire report will be filtered out. That is one thing. Another is I showed you the option of writing a custom SQL in Oracle database, for example.
Yeah.
So there also we have something like you can put it into quote and put the parameter name there. So when in that case, when it's a direct query, so you select the parameter that goes back to the database to fetch the data. So options are there. It's not that it's not provided. We do
Okay.
have such options. Okay, then everyone, thank you for attending this. We'll be having the next session tomorrow at same time. So hope to see you all today again tomorrow. Thank you.